Once upon a time, in a village nestled between the mountains and the river, there lived an old sage known for his incredible wisdom and peaceful demeanor. People traveled from far and wide to seek his counsel, hoping to gain insight into the mysteries of life. The sage had lived for many years, having witnessed both the joys and sorrows that life offers. Yet despite his vast knowledge and experience, he rarely spoke. His days were spent in quiet contemplation, meditating in the forest or gazing at the horizon, letting the stillness of nature speak to him. One day, a young man named Raj came to the village. He had heard stories of the sage and was desperate for answers. Raj was a man of action, always speaking, always doing, always seeking. He believed that the louder you spoke, the more power you held, and the more you did, the more successful you became. His life had been fast-paced, and in his pursuit of achievements, he had neglected the deeper parts of himself. He had lost his peace and balance. Raj walked into the sage's humble dwelling, filled with expectation. "Master," he said eagerly, "I need your wisdom. Tell me what I must do to achieve greatness. How can I become the most powerful man in the world?" The sage sat calmly, eyes closed, and simply gestured for Raj to sit beside him. Confused but eager, Raj sat down, waiting for a grand speech or advice that would unlock the secrets of success. But the sage said nothing. Time passed. Minutes turned into an hour, then two. Still there was no word from the sage. Frustrated and unable to understand, Raj stood up, his impatience rising. "Why are you silent?" he demanded. "I came here for wisdom, for guidance. You say nothing, do nothing. How's this supposed to help me?" The sage opened his eyes slowly, his gaze gentle but firm. "You are in a hurry to speak and act, Raj, but in your haste you have forgotten the most powerful tool of all, silence. In silence, you can hear the whispers of the universe. In silence, you find clarity. In silence, you find strength." Raj was taken aback. He had always believed that success was achieved through noise, through action, through constant motion, and through speaking one's mind. "But Master," he said, "I don't understand. Silence seems like weakness. How can silence be powerful?" The sage smiled softly, his eyes reflecting the calm of the surrounding nature. "Let me tell you a story," he said, his voice low but steady. "In a distant kingdom there was a great king known for his wisdom and strength. One day, a mighty warrior challenged him, demanding a duel to prove who was the strongest. The king agreed, but on one condition. The warrior must face him not with weapons but with silence. The warrior, eager for battle, scoffed at this request, but accepted nonetheless. The duel began, and the warrior spoke of his conquests and victories, shouting and boasting of his strength. But the king, without a word, simply stood still, his face serene. As the warrior raged on, he grew exhausted from the sheer effort of trying to make his point, his voice hoarse and his body trembling. The king, still silent, remained calm, his energy unshaken. In time, the warrior collapsed from the sheer strain of his own words, while the king stood firm, his silence radiating an unmatched power. Raj listened intently, the words of the sage beginning to sink in. "Silence, my dear Raj, is not the absence of strength," the sage continued. "It is the presence of clarity. It is the ability to stand firm in your truth without needing to prove it to anyone. Silence allows you to listen, to others, to yourself, and to the world around you. When you are silent, you create space for reflection and understanding. You allow wisdom to flow through you. Silence is not weak, it is the foundation of true power." Raj sat in silence for a long while, reflecting on the sage's words. He realized how much of his life had been spent in noise, whether in the hustle of his daily routine or in his constant need to prove his worth through words and actions. He had never truly listened, not to others, not to himself, and certainly not to the stillness within him. The sage had opened his eyes to a truth he had never considered. that the most powerful thing he could do was embrace the silence, to find strength in stillness. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the village, Raj stood up, feeling a deep sense of peace he had never known before. He thanked the sage, who simply nodded, a knowing smile on his face. From that day forward, Raj made a conscious effort to practice silence in his life. He listened more, spoke less, and found that in those moments of quiet, his thoughts became clearer, his actions more deliberate, and his heart more at peace. He realized that silence didn't make him weaker, it made him stronger in ways he had never imagined. And as he went on to achieve great things, he did so not through constant noise, but through the quiet strength of knowing when to speak and when to listen. And so Raj discovered the greatest lesson of all. The power of silence is not in what is absent, but in what it makes space for, the wisdom, the clarity, and the strength that can only be found when we are still. This story teaches us that silence is not a void, but a powerful force, a tool for clarity, understanding, and strength. In our fast-paced world, we often overlook the importance of quiet moments, yet in these moments we find the space to hear our true thoughts, reflect on our lives, and understand the world around us. Sometimes the loudest actions come from the quietest places.